On this Wednesday night, devastating flash floods strike Nepal, the powerful waves wiping out communities.
There is no road, no village at all.
And the hundreds of people missing, including Canadians. Tough times ahead for Canadian businesses hit by American tariffs.
We're hoping that cooler heads will prevail.
How Canadian manufactured products can't avoid the levy. META's mega settlement. What the tech giant is agreeing to do, ending a landmark legal challenge from dozens of states.
It is a watershed moment.
What it might mean for Canada. Plus, he was charismatic and larger than life. Remembering the remarkable Tim Curry.
Global National with Donna Friesen. Reporting tonight, Jackson Prosco.
This was the moment a wall of water and mud cut across Nepal, sweeping away homes, buildings, and lives. The force was so powerful it caused seismic waves similar to an earthquake. Hi there, and thanks for joining us. A devastating flash flood has killed at least 160 people in the Himalayan border region between Nepal and China, and that number is expected to rise dramatically. At least 24 Canadians are among the hundreds reported missing. At this border crossing, people began to flee seconds before the torrent arrived, but it was too late. There was nowhere to run. The area, popular with Hindu and Buddhist pilgrims, has been wiped out. Redmond Shannon has our top story tonight, and we want to warn you, the content is disturbing.
Fleeing for their lives, aware that an enormous wall of water is thundering down the valley, it seems unlikely anyone on the ground survived. The flash flood continued far downriver into Nepal, with people scrambling for higher ground. The wave devouring entire villages with enormous force, lifting bridges with ease. I saw trucks being swept away, including people, says this man. In the aftermath, devastation along a huge stretch of the valley north of Kathmandu. Satellite images show just how the event changed the entire landscape. Nepali authorities believe a glacier collapse near the border with Tibet in China may have triggered the flash flood along the river valley.
We are neighbor village, and many relatives are missing. I don't know how can I explain to you, brother.
Lachchu Tamang lives just across the border in China, but is from the affected valley in Nepal.
There is no road, no village at all. And the dead body is everywhere.
With roads washed out, the only way for rescuers to access the affected areas is by helicopter. Hundreds of the missing are foreign citizens in an area popular with tourists and Buddhist and Hindu pilgrims. Nepalese authorities say Canadians are among the missing. Prime Minister Mark Carney called the floods devastating, saying as the rescue efforts continue, Canada stands ready. The full scale of the disaster may yet take days or even longer to become clear. Redmond Shannon, Global News, London.
And the devastation is hitting close to home for some in the Nepalese Canadian community as they struggle to get in contact with their loved ones in the affected area.
For me, this is my family, my relatives, my friends. They are missing away since this morning. We are trying to contact them, trying to call them. I used to talk to them until last night. My messages used to get delivered. But now, many of the text messages, they are undelivered.
Nepal's ambassador to Canada has confirmed 24 Canadians are among the 341 foreign nationals still missing. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand says consular officials are in contact with local authorities. Global Affairs is urging all Canadians in the region to register for assistance. To the other major story we're following tonight, tariffs. There's still no sign of a thaw in the trade war between Canada and the U.S. Prime Minister Mark Carney posted the old order is not coming back as the White House lobbed fresh insults. But as Mackenzie Gray reports, cracks are starting to form in Canada's united response.
First question.
You see all these bees? I swear they're President Trump's bee drones, because they're coming after me.
It was a big tone shift from Doug Ford.
I thought it'd be best just to simmer down. It was a heated day for both him and I going back and forth. but it looks like he simmered down too.
But when you tell the president to kiss your ass, it's going to draw a strong response.
Ford was like the devil in Carney's ears, like, don't do this, don't do this. And Carney, well, for whatever reason, backed down to the German Shepherd Ford.
In an administration of protectionists, Peter Navarro's likely the biggest tariff lover, only in government, after Donald Trump's pardon got him out of jail.
You're the problem. Look in the mirror at your tariff codes. You are the problem.
A message echoed in words and pictures by the Americans. An eagle choking a Canadian goose posted on the official White House Twitter account the day after the president threatened to rename Lake Ontario Lake America.
You saw the Lake Ontario. You know, people thought I was kidding, but maybe I wasn't, because the last one you saw was the Gulf of Mexico. It's time to teach Canada you can't do this anymore.
That lesson, more tariffs, with a senior U.S. official saying the Americans plan to retaliate against any Canadian counter-tariffs. Alberta, the only province not agreeing with the Canadian response, and warning not to use the province's key resource as a bargaining chip.
Although I understand the need to respond strongly to these tariffs, I cannot think of a more disastrous policy decision than cutting off or taxing Alberta's oil to the United States. Doing so would absolutely devastate the Canadian economy.
There has been no response from Alberta, the only province to have no retaliatory measures in place against the U.S. Saskatchewan announcing the first provincial measure since the new U.S. tariffs came into place.
There was a 50% tariff that was applied to Canadian alcohol exports into the U.S. And so on September the 8th, Saskatchewan will reciprocate that tariff on American alcohol that will come into our province.
Well, Western premiers might not want export taxes. It's not up to them. That lies with Mark Carney, Jackson, who hasn't ruled out using that card.
Mackenzie Gray in Ottawa. Thanks. Canada's largest grocery chain, Loblaw, is reintroducing the T symbol on American products that have been impacted by tariffs. The grocery chain says its customers have made it clear they want to buy Canadian. U.S. seafood will be among the products affected when new counter-tariffs on 700 U.S. goods take effect on September 8th. Heidi Petrocek spoke with producers in Atlantic Canada who worry about what it could mean for the industry.
On this Nova Scotia wharf, one retired fisherman makes it clear he's no fan of Donald Trump's trade policies.
I think it's terrible. You know, people are making their living, and it's just killing them.
He supports the Prime Minister's move to retaliate with Canadian countermeasures, including a 25% tariff on some imported American seafoods, such as lobster, starting September 8th. A move Maine's governor blames on Trump. In retaliation for Trump's dumb trade war, Janet Mills wrote online, Canada plans to implement tariffs on Maine's lobster and forest industries, which she called the foundations of the state's economy.
We had absolutely no consultation or indications from the federal government.
If the retaliatory tariffs become reality, it's a problem for processors who import large volumes of American seafood like Maine lobster to fill the gaps between Atlantic fishing seasons.
There's a lot of movement back and forth of live lobster that ebbs and flows along with the supply lines,
adding disruption and extra cost, an expense the Lobster Council of Canada says companies can recoup from the federal government if they have the cash flow to pay the tariffs up front. If not,
if they decide to close early, they won't be open to process the Southwest Nova Scotia and New Brunswick lobster. So that, there are ripple effects.
Even those not directly affected by these counter-tariffs are worried. That's because there's concern the Trump administration could decide to hit back against Canadian seafood.
And if that happens, that's going to have a significant impact on our company, and will have significant impacts on probably every seafood company in Atlantic Canada.
We're hoping that cooler heads will prevail before September 8th.
Since trade tensions with Donald Trump began, seafood had largely escaped tariffs. Now that it is on the table, the industry hopes there's still time to take tariffs off the menu. Heidi Petrocek, Global News, Eastern Passage, Nova Scotia.
Hair and makeup products are also among the items being targeted by tariffs on both sides of the border. Many Canadians are already looking for made-in-Canada alternatives to get around the extra costs. As Jacqueline Hansen reports, that's easier said than done.
Canadians are already shopping for ways to avoid the latest tariffs, but even proudly Canadian manufactured products won't necessarily escape the added costs.
We're going to feel the effects on both sides of the border.
AG Care formulates and manufactures its hair products in Canada, but some of its ingredients come from the U.S.
It will create added costs.
Like in so many other industries, production of hair and makeup products in North America is intertwined between the countries.
If you throw a wrench into that, as the Trump administration has done, it starts to break down.
Canadians won't necessarily see the prices they pay go up by 50%. If a retailer imports U.S. products, they likely pay a lower wholesale price. So the 50% duties would apply to that, not the price consumers pay. Plus, for other things such as ingredients, many Canadian businesses will likely look for local and international alternatives so that they can avoid the tariffs altogether.
Industry is very good if given enough time to be able to adjust to eliminate those tariff costs.
While there's not much time, the pressure is on, as Canada also imports beauty products from other countries around the world that won't face tariffs.
It's very hard to add a tariff price increase when your competitor doesn't have to have it. So our experience in the last round of counter-tariffs in Canada was many companies had to eat that tariff.
That's what AG Care intends to do, in the hopes that the tariffs are just temporary.
This is not the first time that we've pivoted. During the pandemic, we actually stopped our hair care manufacturing to make sanitizer. It keeps the business going, but it's also what we need at time for Canadians, and it'll be the same here.
The cost of doing business on Team Canada, at least for now. Jacqueline Hansen, Global News, Toronto.
One of the beluga whales recently moved out of Ontario's Marineland has died in a Chicago aquarium. Pikachu, a 23-year-old female, died Tuesday, weeks after arriving in the U.S. with 7 other whales. The Shed Aquarium says blood tests revealed she was dehydrated. Meanwhile, 2 other captive belugas and 4 dolphins left Marineland today for their new home in Spain. Marineland is up for sale and says it's running out of money to care for the animals, once the park's main attraction. 2 Air Canada employees have been arrested in connection with an alleged drug trafficking operation at Montreal's Trudeau Airport. Authorities say the 2 worked in ground operations and allegedly used their access to secure areas to help move luggage containing drugs. The investigation began in May after 62.5 kilograms of cocaine were found in backpacks on a flight from Punta Cana. Another 56 kilos of cannabis were later seized. The investigation is ongoing, and police say more arrests and charges could follow. Landmark settlement. Coming up, what the owner of Facebook and Instagram is promising to try and better protect children. Meta has reached a settlement in a landmark trial over teen addiction to social media. The tech giant has agreed to pay up to $17 billion and add stronger child safety features to Facebook and Instagram. The settlement resolves a pivotal case involving 48 U.S. states. Taria Isri reports on what it could mean for Canada.
Is there anything you can say?
After 20 years of largely escaping regulation, it took Meta just 1 week in a California courtroom to capitulate.
This is a really strong down payment, if you will, on protecting our kids.
The company behind Facebook and Instagram agreed to pay up to $17.1 billion US to dozens of states over claims it designed apps that are addictive for children while violating their privacy and misled the public about the risks. For grieving parents, it's a form of vindication.
I am so sorry. I feel like there's justice is possible.
Meta denies any wrongdoing, but it spares CEO Mark Zuckerberg from taking the stand and the company from paying hundreds of billions of dollars in possible fines.
The companies saw the writing on the wall, recognized how vulnerable they were, how much liability they could face potentially if they had lost this case, and decided to reach into their pocket and settle now and cut their losses.
Arguably just as significant as the settlement are the new safety features Meta has agreed to. Stronger age verifications for children, 2-hour time limits a day for teenagers, blocks on nighttime use that can only be lifted by a parent, notification restrictions, no more displaying the number of likes, and a ban on plastic surgery filters.
You could see this as a template to settlement of the litigation that is happening in Ontario and BC.
As those lawsuits make their way through the courts, the federal government is considering banning social media for users under 16.
We should get all of these companies to behave better with regard to young people, and I would say with regard to everyone, fundamentally.
As the era of unchecked social media may be drawing to a close. Taria Isri, Global News, Montreal.
Ahead, Dolly Parton brought the world together through music, and she gave back so much more than melodies. Fans gathered in Dolly Parton's hometown in Tennessee today, leaving flowers, notes, and other tributes at her statue. The country music icon died Tuesday at age 80 after a brief battle with cancer. And as the world mourns, people from all walks of life are remembering Parton's decades-long legacy that went far beyond her music. Candace Cole reports.
From flags flying at half-staff in the U.S. to a military cover of 9 to 5 across the pond. Tributes to Dolly Parton, known as the Queen of Country, are pouring in from around the world and in her hometown in the foothills of Tennessee's Great Smoky Mountains.
She is just that diamond in a rhinestone world.
Now more than ever, she is going to touch more hearts.
She just loved everyone, no matter who they were.
Everything's beautiful in its own way.
Along with her country music, the late icon is just as well known for her philanthropic endeavors.
To the younger generation, they knew her as the book lady.
For over 30 years, Parton's Imagination Library has helped to close the literacy gap in underserved communities, an undertaking first inspired by her father.
Daddy couldn't read or write, but he was the smartest person that I've ever known, and so I wanted to do something special for him.
The program, run through the Dollywood Foundation, has so far sent more than 332,000 books to over 3 million children in the U.S., Canada, Ireland, Australia, and the UK.
I was a huge fan of what Dolly did around literacy around the world. I was culture secretary when her libraries were first coming through, and the books that went into communities across Britain. You know, what a legacy to leave.
She also donated $6,000 apiece to families who lost their homes in the wildfire that hit Sevier County back in 2016.
Vaccine, vaccine.
And when the pandemic hit, she donated $1 million to Vanderbilt Health to help develop a COVID-19 vaccine.
The biggest legacy that someone can leave is impact and love. And Dolly left so much love in the world through her actions and through her songs.
The Dollywood Foundation says the values Dolly Parton instilled in the nonprofit will continue to guide its mission going forward. Candace Cole, Global News, Washington.
Let me show you a rhyme, maybe play you a sign.
Coming up next, remembering the man behind one of the most iconic and eccentric characters on the silver screen.
That's not too abysmal. We could take in an old Steve Reeves movie.
The tomatoes were flying at the world's biggest food fight in Spain. An estimated 22,000 people tossed 150 tons of juicy tomatoes at each other during the annual La Tomatina festival. The annual dust-up was inspired by a spontaneous food fight between villagers in 1945. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have reportedly returned to the UK 6 years after stepping back from royal duties. According to British media, Prince Harry and his wife Meghan arrived with their 2 children, Archie and Lilibet, today. They had been living in California. The couple's children have reportedly enrolled at British schools and will start classes in September. It's believed the family will live at a private residence outside London and won't return to official duties. Well, there was something about Tim Curry that kept the world watching. The prolific character actor died today at the age of 80. The star of the Rocky Horror Picture Show went on to appear in dozens of films over the decades, often playing the unforgettable villain. Eric Sorensen looks back at his remarkable career.
I'm just a sweet transvestite.
In 1975, this was shocking.
Transsexual Transylvania.
A cross-dresser, confident and charismatic on the big screen was seen as outrageous. And yet would the Rocky Horror Picture Show have become the iconic film that it is without Tim Curry?
Well, you got caught with a flat world.
Good lie. Curry's baritone voice was so versatile, here embodying evil.
Dreams are my speciality.
Aren't you going to say hello?
Many roles, like Pennywise the Clown, played with a dark wit.
Come on, bucko.
His unpleasant characters charmed audiences.
Where is it?
What, the body?
The phone. What body?
But there's no body. Nobody. There's nobody in the study. No.
No.
His dad died of a stroke when he was young, and life with his mum was difficult. Performing was his escape.
The freedom of being somebody else. And I think that I was, like everybody else, drawn to the idea of fame.
In this interview, you could tell Curry suffered a stroke like his dad. And like many of his characters, he employed a morbid wit.
I don't fear death. I try to avoid it.
He had to learn to speak again, and did, still in demand as a voice actor.
We grow closer and closer to victory.
For much of his career, Curry's vocal range kept him busy.
Perhaps someone should look in on my breakfast.
Here, he's General Von Talon, a Falcon in Valiant.
Who is your contact in the resistance? What's the matter?
Curry will be remembered for so many characters, from a smarmy hotel concierge to, of course, a pirate.
Long John Silver, at your service.
By the light of the night.
But his greatest performance was the one that made a difference in people's lives.
He gave a lot of teenagers permission to be different, and I'm very happy that he did have that power.
Tim Curry died at the age of 80.
And that is Global National for this Wednesday. I'm Jackson Prosco. Tonight's Your Canada is the center of Canada Park in Taché, Manitoba. We love to see your Canada. Please email it to globalnational@globalnews.ca. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you here again tomorrow.